So El Salvador bet on Bitcoin. And so this article is from October 2021. They put all this money into Bitcoin and it failed. They lost $60 million already, and this is from October 13th of 2022. So a year later. Whoever guessed that a guy who looks like that would be into Bitcoin?
Is that where MS-13 is?
I don't know.
Yes.
So that's that new young president that made all these promises, and he's kind of is forced to work with them, much like their Ukrainian Nazis, let's say. Yeah, he's a scumbag, that guy.
It has been more than a year since El Salvador made history by becoming the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender, and so far, 37-year-old resident Edgardo Esvido has found the nationwide crypto experiment to be relatively anticlimactic. I don't think anything has changed except that the country is more recognized than before, but the economic life of Salvadorians remains the same or worse than a few years ago, and he's a development engineer working in the capital city of San Salvador. According to him, while Bitcoin has become a topic of conversation, adoption remains low, and he has personally found that there are very few businesses that accept the world's biggest cryptocurrency and even fewer Salvadorians who wish to pay in the digital token. What has improved is the issue of violence and crime, but economically, I can say that nothing has changed. And that's what happened. Bitcoin, look at that. It's going straight down. Look at that.
Wow.
Boom.
Also, violence and crime, that's all for show. I was watching the whole thing about it. MS-13
really?
turns the crime down a little bit, and then when they want to show who's boss, they turn it up again.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole, you look it up, it's interesting.
It has been a rocky time with the project not living up to the grand promises made by the country's popular and outspoken Nayib Bukele. The use of Bitcoin in El Salvador appears to be low as the currency has lost about 60% of its value since the experiment started, and the country still faces plummeting economic growth and a high deficit. El Salvador's debt to GDP ratio, a key metric used to compare what a country owes and what it generates, it's set to hit nearly an 87% this year, stoking fears that the nation isn't equipped to settle its loan obligations. So it has a debt to GDP ratio of 87%. I don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
Even as it retires...
Oh, wait, 87% of its GDP is debt? Is that what it means?
I don't know.
Oh.
Even as it retires some of its outstanding debts, the country's domestic and multilateral loan obligations pose a real threat, in part because the world's biggest lenders aren't too keen to give cash to a country betting its future on one of the most volatile assets on the planet. Pair these economic woes with a renewed war on gang violence, and the country is barreling towards uncertainty. The government claims the developments as a success, but most local commentators and international watchers are underwhelmed. As part of the law, prices are now sometimes listed in Bitcoin. Tax contributions can be paid with the digital currency, and exchanges in the Bitcoin will not be subject to capital gains tax. Really? So if you buy some Bitcoin and it goes up in value, you don't have to pay tax on that.
So it's that volatile that's not enough of a...
So that's them trying to prop it up.
Because I would think that would be a real attractive thing.
You would think.
Yeah.
But crucially, Bukele promoted the law as a way to expand financial inclusion, which is no small thing for a country where approximately 70% of the population does not have access to traditional bank financial services, according to the Bitcoin law. To help facilitate national adoption of Bitcoin, El Salvador launched a virtual wallet called Chivo, Salvadorian slang for cool, that offers a no-fee transactions, allows for quick cross-border payments, and requires only a mobile phone plus an internet connection. This seems pretty good. But a report published in April by the U.S. National Bureau of Economic Research, it showed that only 20% of those who downloaded the wallet continued to use it after spending an initial $30 bonus. A survey by the El Salvador-based El Instituto de Opinión Pública, a public opinion think tank, it found that 7 in 10 Salvadorians do not think the Bitcoin law has benefited their family economy. Another survey by the Institute found that 76 out of 100 small and medium-sized enterprises in El Salvador do not accept Bitcoin payments. There seems to be evidence that most people used it primarily to get the free money from the government, but have not used it in an ongoing basis given volatility and fees. So, not working. Bitcoin's tough to use,
right,
as a payment for anything. It's tough, and plus, it's tough because it's so volatile every day. Like, you'll say, hey, I'm going to send you a payment for this thing, and by the time the payment gets to that guy, it's not worth as much anymore, or it's worth way more, and you overpay. So,
also, people think it can't be traced, but actually, that's very easily traced. The FBI loves Bitcoin. Nobody's
using Bitcoin to pay for shit. They're just using it as an investment vehicle. I don't even know. I wonder, didn't Elon Musk say you could use Bitcoin to buy a Tesla, but then they did take that back?
Yep.
Yeah, so they can't even use it to buy a Tesla anymore. Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy shows. We're going to be in Austin, Texas, November 19th and 20th, November 26th in Burbank, California. Plus, in December, every Friday, we're going to be in Studio City at Two Roads Theater. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all our tickets and become a premium member while you're there to get all our videos unedited.